I'll be going through the answers quickly, so make sure your course book is open and in front of you. And please stop and rewind the video as you need to. So, got your book open in front of you? Are your answers in capitals? Want to know why the answers are the answers? Then let's go. For question number 1, the question you'll be asking yourself is who was Shaw? And in order to know that, we have to refer back to the first sentence, which says Carla introduced Dave to the people she had met in France. So there's 3 sets of people. There's Carla, Dave and people. Of course, the word that we need here is a substitutive form to refer to the original person, Carla. So what we need here is she. And now that we've identified that the first answer is a substitutive term that refers back to Carla, what we need now is a substitutive term that refers to David and the people she had met in France. So that substitutive form is they. So the sentence then reads, she was sure they would get on like a house on fire. For question number 3, the word after the gap is couples. So from the context, we can assume there are 2 sets of couples. There are the people she had met in France, and let's assume that Carla and Dave are another couple. So what about getting back to question number 3? What is the missing word here? Well, we can either say the couples, because we need an article to introduce couples, or we can say both couples. Both of those answers absolutely fine. Question 4 and 5 are in one sentence. Question 4 is in clause 1, question 2 is in clause 5. So what we've got here is a subordinate clause followed by a main clause. Let's have a look at the sentence and see if we can make sense of it. It says, Gap, there were several dozen good restaurants in town. Gap, of them had a table for 5 that night at 8:30. The context being is that there seem to be lots and lots of restaurants, but even though none of them could actually put those 5 in that restaurant. So for 5, what we need here is the correct negative form to express that, and the correct negative form is none. So none of them had a table for 5 at 8:30. So what we need for question number 4 is the correct subordinate conjunction to suggest a contrast. The contrast being lots of restaurants, no room at the restaurant. So what we need here is either although, all, or though. For question number 6, we have to have a look at the sentence beforehand. It says, one of the head waiters suggested that Carla should call back at 8 p.m. to see if there had been any cancellations, and as luck would have it, there was what? This word that we have to choose is a substitutive form for cancellations. Not cancellations in the plural sense, but that there was only one cancellation. And that's exactly the substitutive form that we need. One. There was one. In other words, there was a cancellation. Question number 7, all about substitution and then ellipsis. It says, Carla asks the head waiter to reserve the table in her name. And he promised, presumably given the context, is that he agreed to this. In other words, he would reserve the table in her name. Of course, the ellipsis being that we don't have to repeat that part of the phrase again, reserve the table in her name, but what we do need is the answer for this gap, which is would. Question number 8, once again, another form of ellipsis. It says, her friends thought she should make a formal complaint, but she decided not what? Make a formal complaint, in other words. So this word that we can use instead of saying not make a formal complaint is to. She decided not to make a formal complaint. For question number 9, what do we need here? We need a conjunction which joins the clause beforehand with what follows. It says they found a very good place 2 doors down the street, so as a result, their evening was certainly not ruined. So we need a conjunction to refer, which means the same as a result. And of course the conjunction, because there's only 7 of them, the conjunction that we need is so. And if you're not sure about those 7 conjunctions, then get on the internet, consult a good grammar book, find out what they are. Question number 10, simple perfect form. Given the context, given the time context, the correct answer is had. In fact, it was one of the most enjoyable evenings any of them had ever had. Easy peasy.